Okay, we're talking about today. We're in the section talking about Kenyan, about our possessions. And part of our possessions, one of the qualities that is so important is ne'emanus, meaning to have integrity. And so he told us on Thursday, Rav Lopiansky did, that that since part of creation was this idea of demarcating and separating between things, so too when we do that in our world, and we refrain from taking stuff which are not ours, so that's also an act of creation, and then therefore we're being like Hashem when we do that. So that's one part of Naamanus. The second part, he speaks about today that we're reading from this page 52 on the bottom. Honesty endows us with perhaps the greatest title possible for a human to obtain. Naaman, trustworthy. Moshe Rabbeinu's appellation, Naaman, set him apart from and above any other prophet. The halachos of Kriya Shema instruct that a person engaged in his work, and certainly if he is an employee, need to pause only to read the first paragraph of Shema, but the rest can be read while working, meaning a workman can skip part of Birkat Hamazon as well if he is in the midst of the workday. Similarly, a workman not need to stand up for a Talmud Chacham when engaged in work, and is absolutely forbidden to do so if he is working for someone else. These halachos reinforce the sense of duty inherent in working in general and the overriding value of honesty as it implies to an employee. I mean, the halacha places such importance on working for an employee and doing what's correct that they don't even want you to say all of benching, or maybe you can even skip it. The Rambam gives us a powerful lesson on honesty and obligations of the employer-employee relationship. So I'll read from the English. So the Rambam, he writes, a worker may not, however, perform work at night and then hire himself out during the day, or work with his ox in the evening and then rent it out in the morning. Similarly, he should not starve and grieve himself and give his food to his sons, because this leads to stealing from the work due to his employer, for his energy will be sapped and his thinking unclear, and he will not be able to perform his work robustly, just as the employer is warned not to steal the wage of the poor um, person or withhold it from him. The poor person is forewarned not to steal from the work due to his employer and neglect his work slightly here and there, and spending the entire day in deceit. Instead, he is obligated to be precise with regard to his time. The importance of such preciseness is indicated by their sage's ruling that workers should not recite the fourth blessing of the Birkat Hamazon so as to not neglect their work. Similarly, a worker is obligated to work with all his strength. For Yaakov, the righteous man, said, I served your father with all my strength. Therefore, he was granted a reward even in this world, as it says, and the man became prodigiously wealthy. So we see you can't even do stuff in the night. You might think, okay, there's nothing wrong with taking a job in the night. I'm not, it's not affecting my day at all. Says the Rambam, it's going to affect you. You're not going to be as efficient. You're not going to be as productive worker as you can in the day, and that too is stealing. But you have a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is exactly from tomorrow's Daf Yomi that said you're not allowed to get up for the Torah scholar while you're working because that you're supposed to be working. You shouldn't get up for a Talmud Chacham.
Oh, beautiful. Shkoyach. Okay, and then you close with this comment from Michal Ber Weissmandel, that he says, even though this is a strong comment. He says, even though the beginning of the Holocaust started in Germany, even though the beginning of the Holocaust started in Germany and from there spread to other nations, our brethren in Germany were able to escape in greater numbers than those in other countries, and they were also able to save a much greater share of their wealth as opposed to the other countries where the money and possessions ended up with their neighbors. Meaning the German Jews apparently were able to escape in greater numbers and with greater money than everywhere else. Why? He writes, because our brethren in Germany were much more honest in their business dealings with their Gentile neighbors, and throughout the years they did not cheat them. Therefore, the money was rightfully theirs, and none of it was the Gentiles. Whereas in other countries that suffered from excruciating poverty, they allowed themselves to use trickery in their financial dealings with the Gentiles. Therefore, on the day of reckoning, the money reached the Gentile neighbors in order that it returned to its original owners, and Hashgacha brought it to the heirs of those who had been cheated. Um, Bottom line is honesty is important. We're trying to emulate like Moshe Rabbeinu, and it's clearly taken very seriously in halacha. Okay, we'll stop there. Everyone have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining.